Welcome to another episode of McKale Madness. I'm Saul Bookman. That's Corey Williams, my guy. What up, Corey?
Not much, man. What's going on with you?
You know, another day, another dollar. I'm back from Kansas City, which is always good. Better than the last time we spoke, which was right before the tournament, the day of the tournament, actually, for Arizona. And it's just good to be back. There's no place like home. You know what I mean?
I feel you. It's nice to be back. Your comfort zone, back home cooking. You know what I mean? Sleep in your own bed. A lot of pluses to being off the road.
Absolutely. Listen, there was a lot of cool things that happened last week. Kind of wanted to recap just Arizona's performance in the Big 12 tournament. Obviously, day one getting over Kansas, and then day two beating Texas Tech, though depleted Texas Tech, still Texas Tech, still a good enough team to beat anybody. And then obviously coming up short against Houston. Corey, let's just shoot straight over to the Houston game. Let me recap. I liked how they bounced back from Saturday's performance against Kansas and looked against Kansas again on Thursday. I liked how they played against Texas Tech. They didn't really give Texas Tech much hope outside of a little brief span there in the first half. And then it was right there for the taking against Houston. And once again, in the last 5 minutes of the game, they kind of fell apart. What were your kind of ultimate takeaways from this past weekend?
On much bigger and better things, those guys will be available. So beating Texas Tech, fool's gold. You're supposed to beat Texas Tech when they're missing the guys that they were missing, Williams being one of those key guys. And then you get to the Houston game where what does it take to beat a Houston? What does it take to win at Iowa State? What does it take to beat those elite teams in their building? Neutral site, Houston did what Houston does. They defended, but lack of execution in the final couple of minutes did us in. That is a all too familiar theme for me. I'm uncomfortable with that theme happening as much as it has in the 30 games that we've seen Arizona play. So coming out of the Big 12, I'm proud of the team. Making it to the championship was no small feat. It's not their fault. Guys were sitting out, injured, hurt, sick, whatever. They did what they had to do. There's still a little money on the table because you're right. Now they got something to play for. You're coming into the tournament off a loss, which the majority of teams, unless you won your conference tournament, you're coming into the tournament off a loss. So I don't know, man. I'm glass half full, half empty, half full, however you want to call it. I didn't take a whole lot from the Big 12 tournament. Not a whole lot of confidence building.
Let me fill your cup a little bit then, Corey. How about that?
All right. You can try.
All right, here we go. All right. Yes, the Big 12 tournament, I think for some was a little bit of a letdown just because it didn't really feel like there was much to gain from the Big 12 tournament. If there was no Big 12 tournament at all, Arizona would have been a 4 seed. But there is a Big 12 tournament. And if you lose any one of those opportunities, it looked like, you could have regressed instead of progressed. But I think they solidified their spot as the number 4 seed. And actually looking back at it, I mean, they got that 4 seed by the skin of their teeth. They were the 16th ranked team in the country and the 4th ranked 4 seed in the country. So that's why they're going all the way out east now. I think, but by and large, I think this is my ultimate takeaway. Your first year in the Big 12 conference, everybody said it was big boy basketball. You were going to have to take a step up in competition. You came into it limping, 4-5, and then you win, a non-conference game, and you start off the season 5-5 to begin conference play, and you start off with TCU, and then you start off strong. And you had a couple missteps down the stretch, but you got to the tournament, you solidified your position. You finish off basically as the number 2 team in the conference, and you falter against a team that is just a veteran savvy team that has got a lot of good chemistry and connectivity, and things just didn't bounce your way. I think in both instances against Houston, I think this team has learned more about itself. I think they were disappointed in the way they executed down the stretch, but I don't think it's something to where if they played Houston a third time, I would not be surprised if they won that game. just because I feel like there was plenty to learn from. And until you're thrown in that position multiple times, I think it's hard to adjust from game to game. And so I came away from that tournament thinking, all right, here it is. Nobody cares about what you did during the regular season anymore. Nobody cares about what you did in the tournament. Nobody cares. Everybody cares about this. Everybody cares about the NCAA tournament. Everybody's focused on this. If Arizona doesn't at least get to the second weekend, all hell's going to break loose. That's just the way it is. And I, for one, am really looking forward to seeing how the Big 12 has actually prepared Arizona for the drama that's to come. And I feel like, at least watching them in person, talking to them behind the scenes, I feel like they are ready. I feel like defensively they are ready to meet the challenge. I feel like they are in a much better position mentally and physically than ever before heading into a tournament, even with the good 2022 team and 23. Like I think there's a certain mentality that you have to have as a basketball player to grind out a season like they did and to be ready for the rugged road ahead. And I think teams are about to find out. And I truly do. And I think we're going to see that, knock on wood, second weekend. But we'll get to that in a second. Let's start off with the matchup. They're going out east, so they're going to start off in Seattle. And then if they can get past the first and second round, they'll go all the way out to New Jersey. When you saw the bracket, unfold, what did you think about the bracket?
I mean, it is what it is. Arizona has already played 3 or 4 of the top teams in their region already. So it's like, okay, there's some familiar faces in the region when you look at the bracket as a whole. So, credit Tommy Lloyd and the staff for the scheduling that they did. I don't think there's anybody tougher than anybody they've seen. They've seen Duke. And I, off the top of my head, I want to say, who else is in that?
I got you. So I'll go through the list real quick. So Duke is the number 1 seed. Then you have Mississippi State and Baylor at that 8-9 game. Okay. And then you have Oregon, who would be the potential matchup for us if we win this game. And then down low in the other side of the bracket, you have BYU, VCU, Wisconsin, Montana, St. Mary's, Vanderbilt, Alabama, Robert Morris.
So, yeah, obviously Wisconsin, we've seen them. We've seen Baylor. We've seen Duke. That's a lot. That's already 4 teams we've already seen, and they're in our region. So, and
they're familiar with Bama because they played Bama a year ago, and that's essentially the same team as a year ago. So they know Bama too.
So, lack of experience or being caught off guard is something that simply just can't be. It can't be for Arizona this time around. When you look at the bracket, like you said, you throw Bama in there from last year. And I mean, there's no surprises anywhere that you go. But I will say this. I don't like the Oregon game. Oh, I don't like that game. I don't like it at all. I believe the second game will be more difficult than the third game. And you can quote me on that. They pop Oregon, they're going to win the third game. The third game will be easier than playing Oregon. Mark my words. Oregon is Oregon. What's that?
Even if they play Duke?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. First of all, I think people are overestimating Cooper Flagg's effectiveness with that rolled ankle. Come on. Anybody that's hoop knows. Saul, you saw that. What day did that happen?
Thursday.
Yeah. Okay. So is his ankle right now?
No,
you hooped. I knew his ankle's not right. Limited mobility, limited minutes, lack of explosiveness, and you can't push off a bad wheel. Hoopers know that's a 2 to 3 week injury with rest. You're not going to be at your peak. And I'm sorry, Mr. Flagg, but if you walk out here to the jump ball with that wheel, we going right at you, bro. Because you're going to have to reach and foul. You're going to have to push and grab. You're not going to have lateral movement. I'm going to test that ankle in the opening minutes of the game, plain and simple. Now, we wouldn't see him until theoretically a week and a half from now, but maybe he's 100% by then. Who knows? But they're going to need him to survive the opening weekend because Duke without him is a completely different team. So we'll see about that. But I just don't like the Oregon game because it's Dana Altman. It's scary. They space the court. They shoot the ball. They got good one-on-one guys. Oregon is a tough out, and they did some damage in the Big Ten. They got some decent wins to hang their hat on. If you go back and look at their schedule, I mean, obviously you're not ducking anybody in the Big Ten, but Oregon is a very weird, scary JUCO all-stars, random dudes that get buckets. I'm just telling you, man, I don't like that game, Saul. We got to win it, but I don't like it.
That's cute. That's cute. However, they got to get past Liberty. And Liberty can ball. And Liberty, the biggest thing about March, and usually when you get upset, what's the number one reason why you get upset, Corey? What does the other team do to you that maybe is a little bit of a higher clip than normal?
Well, there's two things. One, you got defensive schemes. Coaches come up with some crazy stuff to survive the first half. That's what Liberty's job will be. How do we slow this game down and survive the first half? And then, of course, you want to take away, team strengths. So you just change the tempo of a game and you try to shorten it to a 20-minute game. If you go in that tunnel 3 or 4 points either way, you've done your job if you're Liberty. That's the goal for them. Will they be able to do it? I don't know. I mean,
Liberty is one of the better three-point shooting teams in the country.
True.
That's where I was going with it. And the three-point shot is usually the equalizer. Now it's become less of an equalizer of late because everybody's shooting the three, right? But that's usually what sparks, a run. And Liberty's a good team. They're a good squad. And the metrics have the Oregon Liberty game as one of the top 4 watched upset alerts for this weekend. I think casuals would say Arizona. All right, we're going to break that down right now. All right, let's get into Akron because I've been waiting to get to Akron. I'm going to say this right now. And I don't care what happens. And you can record this. You can post it wherever you want. There ain't a snowball's chance in hell that Akron is beating Arizona. Not happening. Not happening at all. The only way that happens is Arizona completely loses who they are. They just chuck and duck threes. They're playing completely out of character. They're not really efficient on the defensive end. Like they just forgot everything. That's the only way that it's going to happen because Akron plays at a pretty quick pace, 19th in the country. You know what Arizona likes to do? They like to play at a quick pace, but they never get a chance to because the teams they play in the Big 12 like to slow it down. So that's an advantage to me for Arizona. Also, the tallest guy on Akron is 6'8". Lord help me if Arizona found a way, and they would have to find a way to lose this game. That just all hell will break loose. I will say that.
So you said there's no way in hell Arizona could lose the game. Let me take you inside the anatomy of a first round upset. I have 2 in my career.
I know.
Santa Clara, Steve Nash, my junior year, Miami of Ohio. No one can name anybody that played on Miami of Ohio. And you can only name Steve Nash on the Santa Clara team. How do you get beat in the first round of the NCAA tournament? One, you're right. You betray your identity. You come out and go away from the things that you've been doing all season long because the stage is too big, kids get nervous, or coaches get cute, and the next thing you know, it's halftime, and you haven't pulled away. Now, you've put yourself in a situation where you begin to believe that you have to play perfect basketball. And that is the enemy of every athlete. I don't care what sport you are. You're never going to play a sport perfectly. But you start looking at the clock and you're listening to the crowd and you're looking at the scoreboard and you're looking at the clock and you're trying to play. And now there's 16 minutes left in my season. Now there's 11 minutes left in my season. Man, we can't mess up this communication on defense. Oh, somebody got beat backdoor. Oh, they made a 3. Oh, we had to call a timeout. And now you're grasping at straws because you feel like you have to play perfect to win the game. That's how you lose in the first round. You waste the entire half of basketball, not doing what you're supposed to, like you said, playing with your food. And then you come out and you panic in the second half. And you panic because you betrayed yourself. You're not doing the basic, simple stuff. So it can happen. I'm like you. I don't believe it will happen. But when teams get popped, I guarantee you, they come out and play in a way that they haven't played all year long. And the coaches always say it in the post-game presser. We waited until the tournament to have 17 turnovers. We waited till the tournament to shoot 20% from three. We waited till the tournament to give up 19 offensive rebounds. Yeah, that's how you get popped. You come out not focused, worried about walking the tightrope. Your guys are trying to play perfect, or you're standing around, which was our case in Santa Clara. You're standing around waiting for somebody to just handle these guys. That's what happened on a couple of the teams that I was on. We're like, okay, so who's going to score 8 points real quick and get Santa Clara out of here? And nobody ever did. And it could have been Chris. It could have been Khalid Reeves. It could have been Damon Stoudemire. It could have been Ray Owes. It could have been Ed Stokes. It could have been me or Joseph Blair. Or our bench could have beat Santa Clara. I swear to God, our back seven could have beat Santa Clara 9 times out of 10. The teams are 2 starters plus 3 bench guys would beat them 9 times out of 10, but it's the tournament. So these are the things that people have to keep in mind. I think Arizona has to come out and start strong. And like you said, yeah, maybe they are a 90% favorite, but just look, if Arizona doesn't have a double-digit lead at halftime, it's going to be a lot of people sweating in Tucson.
This is what I like about this, so I want to go from the known to the unknown. Okay. So I don't know what it's like to play Division I high level Arizona college basketball with Lute Olson and your squad. Right. But I do know what it feels like to play in a tournament, especially like in high school and in junior college. Right. The feeling I have is a little bit different. I remember one specific, we were the number 1 ranked team in the state my senior year of high school, and we had to play Westwood, who was like the 32nd ranked team. And they came to our house. And of course, in high school basketball, there is no shot clock. So these mother came out and went 4 corners and just held the ball. Just held the ball. And we were a zone team.
Yeah.
And we were a zone team. And so, like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what was happening. And I was just like, all right, well, we got to switch this up. We got to go man-to-man or something. The final score, Corey, was 21-18. We won by the skin of our – actually 21-20. And what happened was – oh, man, and I pray every day, thank God. They had the ball, 30 seconds left. They held it till about 15. Dribble, handoff, dribble, handoff, dribble, handoff. Shot goes up at about the 4-3 second mark, maybe a little bit less. Kid misses. The center in front of me tips it in at the buzzer. Game over. We lose, right? And I'm like, no way. I turn around. The official comes screaming down the sideline, blows it off, says it's after the bucket. Now, I know for damn well that was not after the bucket. That was not before the – that was before. I felt like we lost. We should have lost that game. But you know what, Corey? This is why networking works. I built a relationship with that official because I used to play pickup ball with him at LA Fitness. And I turned around and he looked at me. He's like, I got you. No.
So you would come out here 20 years later and admit to a fraud, grand theft basketball. Straight up.
But what I would say is like there was this feeling in about that third quarter where you knew like, oh, we're in for it right now. This is not going to be this. What is happening? And it's almost like everything starts to squeeze on you and you can't really figure out how to get out of the quicksand. And you just got to be as methodical as hell. You know, you can't make a mistake. Like to your point, you have to play perfect basketball. And it is hard. It is hard when you put that kind of pressure because especially if you come out careless because you think you can just dog walk these dudes, and then all of a sudden you realize you're in a battle and you should have taken advantage of the earlier part of the game.
It's really, really simple. The tournament comes with pressure, and it's like a volleyball. You don't want it on you, so you have to put it on them. I know that sounds really, really basic and very fundamental, but it's just the truth. You saw what North Carolina did to San Diego State. Hey, how good is your offense down 10? We love playing defense up 10. Matter of fact, we love playing defense up 16. Now we're up 20. Do you know how much fun it is to play defense up 20? And do you know how horrible it is to try to have an offense down 20? So when you take pressure and you put it on the shoulders of the players from Akron and say, listen, it's 24-12, right? We're going to lock in and go on an 8-0 run and push it to 32-12. Now let's see what y'all can do. Akron's never been down 20 to a powerhouse team like Arizona, but you got to put them in that position, because if you trade buckets with them, you know what they're saying in timeouts? You know what they're saying in huddles? Man, these guys ain't shit. These guys, man, they ain't all that.
Yep.
Come on, man. Stay. And now they've got, man, stay on him. Don't let him get his shot. Keep boxing the big boy out. Come on, we got this. And now you got that little seed of faith, and it's starting to grow into a freaking weed, and it's going to grow into a tree. And at the other end, man, how come we haven't put these guys to bed yet? How come we, man, somebody, and then all it takes is 3 or 4 bad possessions of hero ball, and you're going to be on that one shining moment video. And you don't want to be on that goddamn video. I'm going to tell you that right now. You better get it together, because you don't want to be on that damn video.
Oh, that's not until the end.
You know what I mean? You want to be, you know what I'm saying? You want to be on the end, but not, you don't want to be nothing you don't want to be none of this. When Luther starts singing them first verses, you don't want to be in that part of the video.
The ball is tipped. You don't want to be right there.
No. Be on that.
Just wait about another 30 seconds, then you can start to show us.
And the crazy part, Saul, is CBS, they are diabolical. They gonna wait until so-and-so Duke is down 6 with 14 seconds to go, and they gonna start shooting Cooper Flag face. They building clips while you losing, while your whole career is disintegrating in front of you. The producers are in the truck building clips of you crying. We need to get the bench with your head down. We want to get that, and not that it's racial, but the white boys, their eyes get red from the crying. Man, they lock in, and you see the brothers go up under the towel. So hey, don't let CBS catch you slipping in the first round, because they will put you. You'll be immortal in that damn video, and you don't want to be in that video, bro.
Hey, and it ain't just for the players too, because they be panning the crowd. Flute girl.
Crowd get a pass.
We all remember the flute girl, right? Just cry when she's playing the flute. Oh,
crowd get a pass. They done spent money and bought airline tickets and came all the way to watch their team get upset. But yeah, man, it's dirty business. But you got to push that pressure on the underdog and put them in a position that you don't think they can perform. Like, hey, you're not gonna, we're gonna get up 20. We can trade baskets for the last 14 minutes if you want to. That's fine, but what we want to do is get you down 20. We don't want every possession to matter, because if every possession matters, that benefits you, not us. So that's the mentality.
Yeah. Let's go ball up top right now. Ball up top. All right. Listen, right now, the preliminary matchups would look like this. It'd be Jaden Bradley against Nate Johnson, and then Caleb Love will match up against Tavari Johnson, Isaiah Gray and Delhi, and then Townsend and Okonkwo, and Awaka versus Wilson. And the thing here is my ultimate takeaways from this lineup that Akron has. Now, Akron can go 8-9 deep. They have guys that are serviceable off the bench. Shanna Scott, Bowen Hardman, and Amani Lyles. They all chipped in the MAC championship game. We're good with the graphic there, Kevin. And in that MAC championship game, listen, they were down 18, came roaring back. Found a way to win that game. So you got to give them credit for having some grit and some grime about them, because Miami of Ohio was shooting the lights out. They shot 50% from 3, 15 to 30 from behind the arc, and they still lost because listen, Nate Johnson stole the ball at the end or got the ball at the end off a rebound and took it the distance, got the bucket with about 2 seconds left, and that was basically all she wrote. So you got to give him credit. Nate Johnson is the MAC player of the year. He's kind of the head of the snake there. He averages 14 points a game, 5 rebounds, 3.5 assists. He's a good player. Some of his strengths and weaknesses, in my opinion, he can make difficult shots. He hit a couple difficult shots against Miami of Ohio. I saw some of his other tape, and he can hit the fadeaway. He can hit some difficult shots. Not the most proficient 3-point shooter. He shoots about 30% or less from 3 this season, which is his lowest of his career. But he's a scorer more than anything. He's not really a shooter. He's a scorer, and he will get you a bucket. He's quick. He's fast. Defensively, but overall, he's kind of the engine that gets them going.
Well, I think, much like they did Hunter Dickinson in Kansas the second time around, you got to hunt this guy. You have to apply defensive pressure to him. You have to try to score on him every time in the opening 5 minutes, because there's no pressure on Akron in the opening 6 minutes of the game. There's zero pressure on them. They can shoot open threes. They can try risky things. They can try to establish a rhythm. But what we're going to do is get Trey on you on Trey, and post you up and see if we can get that early foul. Because him in foul trouble, it's a cakewalk the rest of the game. I'm bending over backwards to try to get 2 fouls on this guy in the first 10 minutes of the game if I'm Arizona. I'm abandoning the play and just trying to take it at him just to see. If you don't get the call, who cares? It's still early. But if you get the call and he gets his first foul in the opening 2 minutes, and then he gets another foul with 14 minutes to go, oh, we got a game. Because now you got to sit him. And if you leave him out there, then it's foul 3, 4, game over, whatever. But you're right when you say head of the snake. You got to be in attack mode. Arizona can't sit back and figure, over the course of 40 minutes, we'll outplay these guys. No, we're going to cut off your legs so you have nothing to stand on. We're going to get fouls on your best player. We're going to go through. I want Toby and Townsend to both have 10 at half, at least. If you can't score on a big man from Akron, you shouldn't have been in the Arizona jersey to begin with. Mm-hmm. I'm talking straight ISO. We never spin it in and let the big men go to work. I'm coming out to the tournament. All right, Toby, go ahead.
Yo, Toby, all day. Toby
and Trey. And let's acknowledge the reemergence of Trey Townsend, who played well in the Big 12 tournament. People's like, oh, Trey Townsend, Corey's crazy. Bro, the boy can hoop. He gets buckets. We haven't used him the right way. We haven't found a way to unlock him. But when the chips was down and we needed a grown man to do work at Kansas, who stepped up? Both times. Yep. When the tournament was rocking and rolling, who was getting good, nice, strong buckets in the paint? Trey. So
first play of the game in the second matchup. First play of the game. They ISO Trey in the corner against Hunter Dickinson. Cooked
and dove right into his chest. Everybody was diving into his chest. I have a theory. The last play against UCLA, going all the way back to December, they ran the last play, and I talked to Tommy about this. That last play was for Trey Townsend, and it was a turnover. Trey gathers that joint, does his shimmy, gets the game winner. What's the narrative for the rest of the year on Trey Townsend? Oh, everybody's loving him, blah, blah, blah. But that's how basketball is. It's no big deal. But to your point, Arizona, they have to establish the tempo. They definitely need to be bigger and stronger. There's no reason not to play bully ball. And the urge for coaches in the tournament is this. And, Lute Olson was definitely one of these coaches. I want my starters available down the stretch. So what does that mean? That means players 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all going to get burned in the first half. How good are you when you come in with players 7, 8, and 9? Can you hold the lead? Can you add to the lead? Or do you give up the lead? Arizona in this game can grow the lead with players 7, 8, and 9 on the floor. They can.
Yeah.
But will
AJ,
they?
Carter, Henry.
Come on, bro. You got to have your starters available to finish out this game. It's do or die, win or go home. So you have to juggle the minutes, and you're going to see dudes coming out of the game a lot quicker than normal. In a tough, gritty game at Baylor, you look at KJ, you're like, are you good? He's like, yeah, coach, I'm good. And you let him rock because it's Baylor and it's on the road and you trust him and he's gritty. Tournament game, one of your coaches nudges you, man, KJ looks a little winded. Boom, get him out. Because we got to stay at a high level for 40 minutes. We can't have a bad 3-minute stretch. I don't want him to pick up a cheap foul. I don't want him to have a turnover because he's tired. So Tommy and his staff are going to try to keep everybody on that top line, which means multiple subs all the time. So we'll see how it goes. I'm anticipating a win, but I would like to see a definitive blowout win. I don't want to see a 7-point win, 83-76. No, I want to see 95-65, something crazy like that. So my boys that eat on that floor that they're going to come back to in 36 hours or 48 hours and play Oregon. That's what I want to see.
Same. That's exactly what I want to see too. I don't want them to play with their food. I want them to go out there and just, hey, get it over with, dominate, and be
Yeah.
Arizona. Like that's it. That's all I'm
And
asking. Just be Arizona.
here's the other thing, and someone in the comments just made a good point. When you talk about Del Orso, it's hard finding him minutes defensively because he gets cooked, he gets exploited, he gets used. He cannot. I used to play Red Rover, and they throw
Yep.
the kid over and try. You can't break the line. You cannot be that dude, Del Orso, in the opening minutes. I'd rather see you foul the guy than to get scored on. I really would rather see that because we're coming with Carter and we're coming with KJ. So just don't give up no cheap stuff that'll build confidence. He's been a solid player, but everybody knows defensively it's been an uphill climb with him. He's a capable player, but he'll get better. He'll get better.
This is the game where Del Orso says, "Hey guys, I'm gonna make it easy for you today. I'm gonna just chill in the corner because Akron loves to leave the corner wide open, wide
Mhm.
open. Their rotations aren't so great when it comes to the corner for whatever reason, but Delhi, just camp, baby. Just camp. Hit those three. This is a Delhi game. If there is not a Delhi game out there anymore this season, this has got to be one. Like this is
Right.
a game where he can finally chip in at a high level. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he dropped 20 in this game because they're going to allow you to score. They just will.
Well, they're going to force the ball to him. They're not going to sit back and watch the big shoot layups. They're not going to let Caleb Love get wide open looks. They're going to challenge him and Carter and KJ and Jaden to knock down perimeter shots. I guarantee you that's what's on the message board in the locker room. They're looking at shot percentages and who can we force the ball to so that this Arizona club shoots 34% from the field. How can we create that? We can't create it with layups and we can't create it with Caleb Love shooting wide open threes. But if we keep these guys on the perimeter, keep a hand up on Delhi and invite the perimeter shot from Bradley and KJ, not so much Carter because Carter knocks down threes, but that's the scheme. So, and you're looking at a guy who made 4 threes in the Final Four. Me, 7th, 8th man, sophomore year. How did I get 6 looks from 3 against Arkansas and Nolan Richardson? They didn't respect me. They dared me to shoot. Arizona and Delhi have to be ready. When that ball gets forced to you because they double team Jaden off the pick and roll, when they double team the big and they swing it out, you got to knock it down, bro. You got to knock it down.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about Akron here in a second, but let's finish off one more thought on Nate Johnson. Nate Johnson, for as good as he is, the MAC Player of the Year and all that stuff, he averages 14 points a game. Only 6 times this season did he score over 20. That's significant because you think as the kind of the head of the snake, you would be scoring a little bit. You would have a few more bursts than you do. I say that because though he's a good scorer, he's not a volume scorer. He does play within the team concept. Also defensively, let's go ahead and bring up the graphic of Akron real quick. Akron 28-6, 17-1 in conference, 113.7 offensive rating, 66th in the country. Defensively, they're 107.1, which is 183rd according to Ken Palm. Their tempo is 16th in the country at 71.4, and then their strength of schedule was 277th in the country. How bad was their strength of schedule, folks? They did not play not a single one Power 4 opponent all year long. This will be by far their toughest team that they will have faced all season. They got housed by St. Mary's. They got housed by Princeton. They got housed by Yale. Again, great story. They were 16-0 at home. That's all cute. But at some point, you got to play some quality competition. And Akron's about to find out right now because not only are you just waking up into something like this, but Arizona, I feel like, is on a mission to prove something. Now, they might not make the Final Four. They might not even make the Elite Eight. But they're not going to lose because they got out of character, in my opinion. I just think that they're just too solid for that.
Well, I think they need to defend. They need to make scoring hard. Anytime you play a team where you're better than them at every position, 1 through 9, Arizona has a better player at every position, the entire roster, top to bottom. it can't be a situation where everybody puts their feet up and says, I'm just going to throw my shoes out there because we're better. No, I'm going to come out, kick my guy's ass. You make sure you kick your guy. Collectively, let's all kick everybody, and then we'll get the easy win. So they all got to buy in on that level. You look at a team that is the kind of basketball they play in the MAC. You run your stuff, we run our stuff. If our players are better and we run our stuff better, then we win. They don't have standout one-on-one electrifying guys that can put your lights out, make 6, 7, 8 buckets in a row. They don't have guys like that in that conference. They are going to heavily rely on their system. You have to disrupt their system. Oh, that little down screen with the curl, yeah, we're going to shut that down. Oh, that ball screen that you use to hit the big man on, yeah, we're going to shut that down. Once we start shutting that down and there's 8 seconds to shoot on the clock, what you got now? See, Arizona's feasted all season in that environment. Oh, 6 seconds ago, Jaden Bradley, straight line drive. 6 seconds to go, Carter Bryant, one-on-one spin. KJ Lewis, get to the lane, fade. We got guys that can do end of possession scoring with no play being called at all. Akron doesn't have that. So defend, get them into that under 8 seconds, and just get the rebound. That's all you have to do. It sounds easy. It can be easy if you put the effort forth.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. So that's Akron, folks. Tavari Johnson averages 13, 2, and 4. He's a solid player as well. You got to account for him. And then you have Isaiah Gray, who's kind of like Charlie Villanueva, junior, if you will, if you know what I'm talking about. Bald kid. Mm-hmm. You'll see. He's good too. He's had some big games this season. But Seth Wilson. Seth Wilson's kind of like a super poor man's version of Toby Awaka. He's okay around the basket, nothing to really write home about. And then Okonkwo is only 6'8", but he is pretty athletic, and he will dunk on somebody. He will try to dunk on somebody for sure. That's just who he is. He's kind of got that DNA about him. But overall, this is just a game where if Arizona does Arizona things, they should be able to easily handle this game. I do believe this will be one of the bigger blowouts of the weekend, in my opinion. I just feel like Akron is overmatched in terms of pace, in terms of defensive quality, in terms of shot efficiency, in terms of strength, bigs. Arizona literally has every single advantage outside of maybe the 3-point line from a percentage standpoint. That's it. So if Arizona, I will say this, if Arizona loses this game, in my opinion, it's probably the second or third worst upset for an Arizona team ever, in my opinion.
Our 91 and 92, East Tennessee State and Santa Clara back to back. That was probably Arizona was not even supposed to, those games are supposed to be practice scrimmages. This would rank up there with those. You'd have to go all the way back to them. Even the first round loss to Princeton a few years back, as shocking as that was, Princeton had some capable parts, and you could actually watch the game and watch them execute. You had to respect what they were doing. But this would be the equivalent of losing to a Northern Arizona or something like that. And no disrespect to the Lumberjacks, but yeah, that's what it would be. That's what it would be.
Yeah. No, it would be. And listen, the pitchforks would be out. Absolutely. People would be irate. And I mean, you got to expect that. You just know that, but I don't think that's going to happen, in my opinion. And I actually have Arizona moving on to the next round to face. I have Liberty. And so that's my prediction. I think Liberty's actually going to upset Oregon, and Liberty's not going to be a tough out either. But that's just kind of my overall thoughts. I wanted to get to your thoughts on this because we mentioned it for a little bit before, but in terms of preparation and setup, Corey, from your freshman year when you guys got upset by Santa Clara to your sophomore year when you went all the way to the Final Four, what was there a different approach going into either one? Was there anything that was unique to that particular year versus the other in any way, good or bad or whatever?
So we talk a lot about narratives, and I'll make it as simple as possible. My freshman year, we were protecting something. We were number 2 Arizona, 19 games in a row, all these NBA players, Arizona across our chest. We were protecting our reputation. That game felt like they're coming for us. We have everything to lose, nothing to gain. We just have to go out here and hold court, and we know we were the hunted. My sophomore year, we hunted all year long. I never enjoyed playing basketball so much as my sophomore year. Arizona doesn't have any big men. What is Lute going to do? Who the hell is Joseph Blair? Royse isn't a real power forward. You can't win basketball games with two guards chucking 50 shots, 25 shots each. Arizona's freshman, Corey Williams, isn't panned out. Joe McClain's not a real hooper. Dude, it was so much fun. We hunted all the time. When the tournament came around, we had no pressure. None. We had a saying, we had t-shirts made, said Arizona basketball on the front. On the back, it said jumpers to the grill, which was the expression back in the 90, 93, 94, when somebody would shoot a three or a jump shot right in your face. You'd be like, yo, he hit you in the grill. We had jumpers to the grill t-shirts. Like for lack of a better word, our swag was on 1,000. We were never nervous. We were like, yo, we about to go out here and smack these fools in the mouth. Who we got? Louisville? Missouri? It don't matter who we get.
The first 4 games of that tournament, you guys, your average margin of victory, I think it was like 25, 27.
We couldn't wait to show out on fools. Like, oh, we have the 2 best guards in the country, and they're about to cook your guards. And then when you try to help, I'm hitting a 3. Dylan Rigdon's hitting a 3. Joe's hitting a 3. JB's getting dunks. Ray's getting like, you can't do nothing, and we can't wait to show you that you can't do nothing about this. You didn't give us any respect at the beginning of the season. Now let's look at Arizona. Preseason top 10, and they end up on the 4 line. So in some people's estimation, they underachieved. They were ranked 10th, and they had finished at 16. So they might feel like, oh, we underachieved. Now it's time for us to prove that we really are preseason top 10. I personally don't give any heed to the preseason rankings. I don't care what they say. I don't feel like this Arizona team is underachieved. I think, and I'm going to keep it real with you, I got a Big 12 Final Four. I really do. I got Iowa State. I got Texas Tech. I got Arizona. And I got Houston. Because I think that gritty style of play is going to show up, and nobody else will be able to deal with that. Iowa State is nice. Houston is Houston. Texas Tech is probably the best team in the Big 12 that doesn't get the love. When they're hitting on all cylinders, Texas Tech is a handful. They defend. They turn it over, but they defend. And I just got Arizona because I really believe Arizona is a good team. And then obviously I'm an alum, so I put them in the Final Four every year. But I wouldn't be surprised seeing all Big 12 Final Four. I don't think anybody in the country would be.
Yeah.
So anyway, the difference in those teams, to your point, it's your narrative. Do you have a locker room narrative? Do you have a chip on your shoulder? Are you guys all bought into the same concept? If you go out on the court hoping you don't lose or hoping you guys pull it off, if you go out there with aspirations, you're going to get knocked off. But if you're if you guys go out there like pirates on a pirate ship, like, yo, it don't matter who we come up against, it's a wrap. Those teams that have some type of internal messaging, some type of internal attitude, you need to have something to take the pressure off, where your guys aren't paying attention to the stage and what's at risk. So for me, the differences on all those teams, my senior year, it was our last go round. We were all tough as nails. We wanted to at least go as far as we wanted. We weren't all guaranteed first round lottery picks, but man, you talk about a band of brothers. That's how we were. That was our motivation. We literally loved the guy standing next to us. We had a little bit of a chip on our shoulder. We had a couple of tough losses my senior year that we shouldn't have lost. So the tournament was payback time. And we were a couple of jump shots away from beating Kansas in the Sweet 16. Do I think we got everything we could have got out of that team? We could have won a national title with my senior year team. I don't think that would have been too far-fetched. We were itching to play Syracuse, who had beat us earlier that year. They would have been next had we gotten past Kansas.
Was that John Thomas's squad?
Yeah, John Wallace. Yeah,
John Wallace. Yeah,
John Wallace, Lazarus Sims, all those idiots. I used to run into those guys in the CBA after that. And that's the other thing. Those college losses stay with you when you go pro. Guys talk trash to you. But anyway, got to have a narrative. Got to have all guys rowing in the same direction. Hopefully this Arizona team has a chip on their shoulder. Not that you want to look past Akron, but you definitely want to use them as a punching bag and get ready for what could be a good game on Sunday.
Okay. So nothing like that like Lute specifically did from year to year. It was more of just the overall team kind of vibe or focus, I guess.
I'm gonna say something, man, and people are just gonna have to take this and take my word for it. And I'm scared to say it now. Lute used to be so nervous when tournament time rolled around. And sometimes it would trickle down to the team. And I know that's going to be tough for people to hear because he's legendary and I love the man like he's my dad. But he used to get so friggin' nervous right before the tournament. And the team would get tight because he's our leader. And I remember one time he called a timeout. He didn't say anything the whole time out. He just twisted his ring and sat there. And then the horn went off and we walked out there like, what the hell was that? Yo, coach is tripping. Like when the tournament came around, we would come to practice that Monday and we'd have these big, huge rubber ropes for jump rope. He brought out all the stuff we were doing week 1 of the season. Like we hit the reset button. We were going back to defensive slide drills, kind of like a back to basics boot camp. And that totally messed up the team vibe. Like, yo, why are we doing these drills? We haven't done these drills since like October. What are we doing? Man, it's tournament time, man. You know how coach is. No, I don't know how coach is. Wow. And then like panic would set in. Like, oh my God, this is the third part of the season. Coach is approaching it differently. So we approach it differently. We can't lose. We got to win. And then my sophomore year, coach was like, man, I don't got no big. I got no choice but to let Damon and Khalid run free. We gotta be quick. We gotta play small ball. Man, y'all do y'all thing. And we was like, thank you. And we just had so much fun. My junior year was the same thing. My senior year was the same thing. And I think that 94 team forever changed Lute's approach to the postseason because he wasn't ever that uptight again. I heard the same thing about the East Tennessee State game from guys who were on the bench, guys who played in it. Man, coach was just so, he was so uptight and we watched all these films and we did this and we did that. And when that vibe comes from the top down, yeah, I'll say a few of those Arizona teams we were real tight out there, very tight. And that's just me telling the truth. I know some people may not like to hear that, but the man knew everything about basketball. And I think he was a perfectionist to that level. When the tournament came around and the knock on Lou, oh, he can't win the big one. That's why I cried like a baby when they won it in 97, because I knew all the stupid haters who didn't know anything about basketball had created this narrative that Luke couldn't win the big one. So he got to silence the haters. Him and Bobby were up there. Bennett got to mess his hair up. And that was a great moment for Arizona basketball because he was always a national championship coach. Sometimes we let him down. Sometimes the guys didn't execute. So it goes both ways. But that's one thing I will let go of. Coach used to get nervous. And you can check that with anybody that ever played for him. Pre-94, we all talked about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hey, listen, I don't think that that's a surprise to much degree. I think Lute, he had been to Final Fours. Like he knew he was a good coach, but of course the validation of a national championship is like what everybody, the goalposts always move, right? For Tommy, it's like, it'll forever be until he gets to the Final Four. And then if he gets to the Final Four, okay, now he's got to win a national championship, right? That Final Four will only last so long. With Lute, I think that's why we love Lute so much, is because we knew that like he's perfect on the outside. He's Lute Olson. He's got the great hair. He's got the image. He coaches our guys the way we want them coached, and for whatever reason, he couldn't get over that hump. And so then you start to wonder, like, is what I'm seeing like the real deal? So to win that national championship not only validated him, it validated us as fans that we knew this guy. We knew he was going to do it. And so that's always satisfying to a fan, I think. And so
Yeah.
speaking of coaches, I do, before we wrap up the show, I wanted to make sure that I took some time. My high school coach, Coach Sam Ancliffe, he passed away a couple months ago, or about a month ago. And I had been kind of holding off on speaking about him until I knew, if he was going to have a service and all that stuff. And, Coach, I think, Corey, you play for a lot of coaches. I think there's some coaches who you get along with. I think there's some coaches that you don't get along with. There's some coaches that you don't get along with, but you know that they're super intelligent. And then there's some coaches that you get along with and they don't know anything. So you get a little balance of everything. And Coach Ancliffe at first, I knew he had a lot of, faith in me as a player. And he would always try to coach me up, even when I was, a freshman in high school and stuff like that. And he cut me from the sophomore team and put me on JV my sophomore year. And I was pretty high about that. But I was able to practice with varsity. And that little small thing to me really elevated my game to another level. And then my junior year, there was this one specific game against Richard Jefferson. Richard Jefferson is on Moon Valley. I'm playing for Marcus Deniza. We call a timeout. They get on a run where it's a tie game. And coach slaps me on the leg because I'm talking to our guard, Deron Finley. And I'm like, he's saying I did something wrong. I'm trying to defend myself, whatever. Anyway, long-winded story. I wanted to transfer almost right away after that. And coach pulled me to the side, and he's the one that basically taught me about fighting through adversity, understanding what your role is and how to adjust. And those are fundamental things in sports that you can carry through life, is how to get through adversity. And so I didn't transfer. And the next year we made it to the state Final Four and we won our first conference championship in school history. That's when we beat Corona del Sol. And I always have to throw Corona del Sol underneath my proverbial bus because I'm a Padre and they're Aztecs. That's forever what it'll be. It's like ASU and U of A all over again. By the way, pull up that shot. You won't be able to see it, but there's a white-haired gentleman all the way in the back, third row, sitting right next to my dad, and he goes by the name of Lute Olson. He was there at that game. It's one of my cherished memories of life, and Sam Ancliffe was a major reason why as our head coach and leading us there. And this is an image of Coach Ancliffe on the left, and then on the right is us celebrating the McClintock Holiday Tournament Championship. And that's Coach Ancliffe and also Coach Jordan. Both of them have passed on in the last couple of years. So I just wanted to take some time to recognize both of their lives. But, in particular, Coach Ancliffe, because he meant so much to me. Last time I saw him was about a decade ago, and we played golf together. A tremendous man. Went to the U of A, graduated from the U of A. And so I just wanted to give him a shout out. Rest in peace, Coach. Love you. All right. What you got, Corey?
Not much. I mean, that was great. I mean, coaches, they really, the right coaches stay with you. Basketball is a journey. And I think a lot of coaches have a very similar goal, is to get you outside of yourself, get you to think about something bigger than yourself, be a part of something bigger than yourself. Be concerned with something bigger than yourself, because if they can get you to do that, they know that you're in pretty good shape for the rest of, the real world outside of athletics. So whether it's dropping your head or lacking focus or work ethic, discipline, they're all teaching you the same lesson. Put your chin up, look at your teammates, stick to the goal, be a part of something, because that's literally what life is. Until you leave, you got to be a part of something, whether it's your community, your family. They teach those life lessons, and that's why great coaches, it doesn't really matter what sport you play. That's why sports have such an impact on young people, because of guys like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can come join us for a great time if you should so choose. we have the Green Jacket Golf Tournament going on, the Green Jacket Scramble, I should say. And it's going to be fantastic. It's up here at Dobson Ranch. So get your foursome, come on up here to the Valley and play some golf after, maybe making a few bets in the clubhouse beforehand, because we're going to watch the Masters, the third round of the Masters together as well. You get a limited edition PHNX gift pack. It's a 2:00 shotgun start. You can come out. You can play golf with myself, Eddie Johnson, Frank Sanders. We're trying to get Archie Bradley out there. And any Arizona alums you want to throw them our way, we would be more than happy. I'm trying to get Reggie to come. Reggie Gary plays golf.
Reggie cheats at golf. I said it. Reggie cheats at golf.
He can cheat if he wants on my squad because I'm trying to win it. So hopefully you can get Reggie out there. But it's open to everybody. So sign up with a foursome. If you got a company, you want to come out and you want to sponsor a hole or whatever, hey, hit me up on the side. I appreciate it. But it's going to be a fun tournament, Corey. And I hope, it's already started last night. The Alabama State game was fun to watch. It all starts tomorrow. The madness all starts tomorrow. And the last time I checked, I don't know if Sean Miller will maintain a part of that madness because they were losing by 11 and now they're down by 8. So we'll see. But it's an exciting time of the year. And I know you have fond memories of your time, Corey. So I know you're excited as well.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, you used to get that little NCAA watch as a participant. I had 4 of them. Gave one to my grandpa, gave one to my father. I kept the other 2. I got my Final Four ring. Every once in a while I'm reorganizing my office or cleaning up, I come across that stuff. And, man, the little NCAA pin, the game program, I mean, dude, hold on. I mean, it's just great. I mean, I'm looking over here. I can see the 1994 game program that was handed out in Charlotte. And here we are, 30 years later, and it's still in my office. And it was one of the best times in life. You haven't lived until you've been in Charlotte, North Carolina, playing in the Final Four, signing autographs in the mall, and then that night going to the club and partying with Alonzo Mourning, shout out Charlotte Hornets, and then going to IHOP and having pancakes with Jodeci. That was my life, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Charlotte, North Carolina. Alonzo Mourning pulls up at the IHOP he had a Benz that matched that Charlotte Hornets sky blue.
Ooh.
He gets out that 600 and just drains the IHOP. All the girls got up mid-meal and just went outside. And so we're out there trying to get our chicks back from Alonzo Mourning, and it's not happening. And then all of a sudden, Casey, Devontae, and JoJo show up. They come in, so they in the booth next to us, and I'm like, come on, man. We supposed to be the big dogs. It's the Final Four. We got the Arizona hoodies on. Yeah. Took all our chicks. We ain't getting no love in Charlotte, bro.
Oh, my God. Yeah, are you serious?
I'm dead serious, man. Lonzo Mourning and Jodeci they shut your boy down, man. I don't lose much, so I'm not Denzel, but I don't lose a lot. But I took an L that night, bro. No question.
Oh, man, that's crazy. And one might say lately you've had a feeling. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Final Four.
Kevin is texting me right now, so it must be. Oh yeah, this is the wildest story I've ever heard, for sure. But hey, listen, I mean that's the way we got to wrap this up. Don't take it too seriously, folks. It's just March Madness. Our boys are going to be all right. For Corey Williams, you can follow him at College Corey on Twitter and on Instagram. You can follow me at Saul_Bookman on Twitter and on Instagram. You can follow our producer, Kevin Thomas. You can follow him at Kevo Posts on Twitter. And you can follow the show at PHNX_Wildcats. Kevin and Damon will be live with your post game this week, so check them out. I will be live from Tucson. I'm actually going to Tucson for the next 3 days. So holler at your boy if you see me. But I'll be on front of McKale doing my little giveaways from the game. Until next time, folks, bear down as always. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.